So I welcomes you all again in this 19th version of the webinar series. I want to heartily welcome Dr. Prithviraj from NITK Suratkal. And today he will be delivering lecture on how community-based drone application works, and it's specifically to the agriculture field. I welcomes you, Professor Chandan Ghosh, Head Resilient Infrastructure Division, NIDM. And without your support and guidance, this webinar series will not reach to that success level. And before we will definitely achieve some milestones in this domain. Till this, we will share lot of knowledge and expertise, particularly to this kind of applications, which are currently giving lacuna in the market. And so this will be a huge, I think, opportunity for our participants and entrepreneurs and the developers who are coming in this field and wants to explore his knowledge in this domain to all of the participants. And it's a very networking link, proper channeling and a networking link that can be together make us connected in this domain for making the resilient communities in the field, disaster domain. So thank you, sir. Firaz, sir, are you there?
Yeah, I am there, sir. I am there.
Yes, sir. Sir, your video is not. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the invite.
Very high tech person, but very humble to be in the ground, and also assisting many of the state government and central government projects, whether it is dam, whether it is agriculture, whether it is teaching tools, and to the area of disaster management, and especially using tools and technology used by you and your team under the able guidance and stewardship of your director, of course, and also Professor Gangadharan. And I remember long back visiting you, I think before COVID, and the kind of interaction that I had with your group, and especially at NITK Suratkal. It was a holiday, I think, Saturday or something. And then when I visited there, then I could visit the laboratory, and also the scientists, also young, say pass out graduates and MTech and PhD students, the way that they have been dedicating them in various projects mode. In fact, it is beyond classroom, out of the classroom, taking care of the practical projects, and which brings some grants to the center that you have established. I was amazed to see such dynamism in your team. And more so, during COVID, we could communicate when I was in IIT Jammu, that while classes were going on online, and then we are discussing that how to engage the students online to the sessionals or to the experiments. And then in one of the class, well, sessionals means practicals were there. Then I remember in 2020 when COVID was at its height, and then we could connect our students online to your laboratory there, where you have developed number of such testing is being done, but which is being shared at that time, I think, in all IITs, all NITs, and all centrally funded institutes and private institutes. They have been instructed to develop whatever is possible to engage the students online, but online everything cannot be taught. So I remember that how all the institutes, and I still remember NITK Suratkal, that your team, how you have managed a number of such experiments that which are made available to the students as if that they are doing the experiments by themselves, the way that explanations are going on. Because many such tools that you have developed, I think I still remember vividly. And following that, we wanted to connect IIT Jammu with NITK, those experiments which are compulsory for solid mechanics or fluid mechanics or even structural mechanics things. But officially, it was not possible. But due to good connections that we could show, or you could show some of those things. And that has invited me to engage students while I was there physically in the laboratory in IIT Jammu. And students are remotely being contacted. Then I started at IIT Jammu taking my laptop and desktop there in the laboratory, especially geotechnical engineering laboratory. And that was the first time that all the triaxial test, shear test, all the tests which are there in the class schedule, means practicals, all those tests by focusing my laptop camera to the instruments, I could directly interact with the students. Testing were done by me and my laboratory staff, but each and every interpretation of the say testing results done through focusing a laptop onto the instrument. That is, I still remember. So welcome, I think, Dr. Prithviraj.
Yes, sir.
That just before beginning, I thought, let me recollect that how we got associated in a, and also you visited IIT Jammu along with your team on a mission to survey the upcoming IIT Jammu campus in a hillock area where hardly any plain area is there. And I think it was in the month of December.
Yeah.
Sometime.
Okay, we came couple of times.
Couple of
3
times.
months.
The first time we met, I think, in December, and then you did the survey using drone, and then at that time we had a lot of other kind of discussion, especially making engineering subjects interesting, especially in the COVID era. Of course, at that time, COVID was not there, followed by COVID, that it has changed the entire scenario. So this is just only out of the context, just to recall you, and we had number of such webinars in between. And so this is a webinar series we have started in the month of May. Every week, 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. and especially on Friday. But today is Thursday. We have to prepone it today because tomorrow is a International Disaster Risk Reduction Day. And our institute here in the campus, Rohini campus in Delhi, we are going to observe that day with a very special theme that given, bringing inequality into equal attention during disaster. So there is an elaborate arrangement tomorrow, and in fact, you are there, but we have invited many, and there are many from different cross sections of the society, especially Divyang, rather we say disability, how they are to be taken care, and various sectors of the society, whether it is physically, say, handicapped or gender, children, and also many ambassadors. In fact, we have met recently one of the, say, Maithili Thakur, which she is very well known in she can sing at least many of the Indian languages. Indian languages, and just at the age of 23, she has taken a recognition from the music industry. And so in one of the occasion that we have made her as a child ambassador
Okay, sir.
of NIDM in spreading the disaster risk reduction related awareness. And so tomorrow she is going to come along with many other dignitaries who are physically in Delhi, like we are calling one of the Japanese also professor, and who is a disaster management specialist, currently senior advisor to JICA, Japan International Cooperation Agency. And in fact, tomorrow is a gala day to bring all together in the same platform with a motto to give equal attention, no particular class or anything, because disaster doesn't differentiate there. Tomorrow is a very special day, and I would be very happy to invite you, but it is only tomorrow only. But all the participants who are listening to today's, you please keep in touch with our social media connections and everything. I think the entire occasion starting from morning to 2 o'clock will be relayed and it will be all recorded. So anyway, just to come to this one, that Abhiksha Mahanti, she is a young professional in NIDM. She is going to moderate this session, and the topic is very familiar. So it is familiar to everyone, as if that more familiar that when it is being used maybe a few years back or 5-6 years back in a occasion, marriage occasion internally. But now there are civilian, how it is to be used in many of the civilian purpose. For that, Director General of Civil Aviation has brought out some rules and regulation, and especially that where to fly drone, where not to fly. Like when we have got like airport, then there are so near airport it cannot be. So there are elaborate exercise has been done by central government, and it has come out, and it is officially available in the website. Those who are interested, you may please. I am going to give that that link through the chat box for everyone to come to know about that, what is that rules and regulation, especially for flying the drone. But today's webinar is with a purpose that application, especially that Dr. Prithviraj and his team and the entire NITK is involved. And I hope today's webinar will be well taken. In fact, this is 19th in the series. We are counting it in this way that till December, we will be having every week, whether it is holidays or every week Friday, we are maintaining. But of course, some of the webinars are due, which we will be taking up very soon. So what I would like to say just before giving it to that we are going to have this application specially in the agriculture area, which Dr. Prithviraj wanted to highlight, but with many other applications. And in fact, with the interaction with him, it is always a rewarding experience to know that whatever in the purview of National Institute of Disaster Management, what we have been doing since 1995, and effectively, in fact, NCDM became NIDM in 2003, October. So we are having some special program in the end of this month on the occasion of 20th anniversary or of NIDM as an institute, but it has started in 1995 as a National Center for Disaster Management in India Institute of Public Administration campus, IIPA, near ITO. And we have shifted to our main campus over here, from which this deliberation or this is going on. We are sitting here physically in the NIDM building. Those who have been participating in our regular webinar, you are requested to get more interactive and active enough. And during seminar by Dr. Prithviraj today, you please raise your hand and queries, as whenever you see that some doubts to be cleared, and send it, you raise your hand and we'll see that Avipsha will be calling you to the panel so that you can directly ask the questions or get some more elaborate explanation to the things that which will be presented today. Thank you very much. So on behalf
Thank you
of
so much,
our
sir.
Executive Director, Sri Rajendra Ratnu, IAS, and also this seminar is being taken up with a co-partnership with Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, which has an organization like Building Materials and Technology Promotion Council. The Executive Director of BMTPC, Dr. Shailesh Kumar Agarwal, is our always constant inspiration to take up such kind of activities along with them and along with many other stakeholders. Hope that you will enjoy today's webinar.
Thank you, sir, for the overwhelming gesture of welcome address and setting the context for today's webinar. So without taking a further ado, with the permission of the chairperson and our eminent speaker, I'm starting the technical session of the webinar formally. So today we are gathered here in this 19th version of the webinar series. So greetings to the Sri Rajendra Ratnu, the esteemed Executive Director of the NIDM, Dr. Shailesh Kumar Agarwal, ED PMTPC, and our eminent guest speaker, Dr. Prithviraj Umesh, Assistant Professor at the Department of Water Resources and Ocean Engineering, National Institute of Karnataka, Surathkal, and our esteemed session chairperson, Professor Chandan Ghosh, Head Resident Infrastructure Division, NIDM, as we convene for the webinar series centering into the intriguing topic that how community-based drone application works. Today, Avipsha Mohanty, a professional, young professional at an IDM, welcomes you in this webinar series. I heartily welcome you all, each and everyone, whoever present in this program. Your esteemed presence not only honors us but also sets the stage for the highly anticipated session. We eagerly anticipate an enlightened and productive session discourse of the as we engage our very renowned professional from this domain. Prior to delving into the core of our session, allow me to impart some information that will be beneficial for all the participants. As the webinar is being recorded and already live streamed on YouTube, and the link is already shared with you in the chat box for a future record. Throughout the webinar session, kindly submit your queries on the chat box, or you can raise your hand so that I can put them in the panel list and you can directly have a conversation with our speaker and our chairperson. So today we are gathered here to discuss the fascinating world of community-based drone applications. And in this webinar, we are promised to be an insightful journey into the intersection of the technology, community engagement, and the limitless possibility that drones brings to our community. Sir has already rightly mentioned that we use the drone for our internal marriage functions or some small activities, but now this has become a very uh, challenging or any revolutionary technology that we are using it in every domain and every field for its efficacy, in its precision and efficiency results in terms of its outcomes. So they have found their place in various sectors, starting from the agriculture to disaster management to surveillance, and have even in healthcare domain. So we are here to explore that how these unmanned aerial vehicles are making a significant impact when communities come together to leverage their potential. So in the next few hours, we will have the privilege of hearing from the expert in the field, pioneers who have been at the forefront of integrating the drones into the community-based initiatives, particularly in agriculture domain. and he will share his insights, his experience, and its case studies, applications, some simulations, so that our participants will get ample amount of knowledge from him. So I would like to invite you, sir, and brief him about before welcoming on the dais. Dr. Prithviraj is a highly accomplished professional with extensive expertise in the field of wind energy, wave structural interactions, drone technology, and the design and development of switched reluctance motors, among other areas. With a remarkable professional experience of 17 years, he has established himself as a dedicated researcher and practitioner. He has done lot of work in the field of agriculture, particularly in smart irrigation facilities also, and he has expertise excellence belongs to various prestigious projects, including the simulation and development of flapping mechanics, analyzing the flow characteristics, studying the pollutant dispersion around buildings. His involvement in cutting edge initiatives encompasses the development of solar powered unmanned aerial vehicles for disaster management and the deployment of micro aerial vehicles for wireless sensor activities. In addition to he has also involved in hands-on experiences to the impactful projects like he demonstrated and prepared lot of projects, particularly in advancing knowledge in the field through the scholarship contributions. He has published a total uh, 16 articles in reputed journals, showcasing his proficiency in disseminating valuable insights, research findings. He has a combination of practical experiences, research acumen, and dedicated to innovation makes him a distinguished professional in the realm of engineering and technology. So thank you, sir, for joining us today. And without further our delay, I would request you to grace our participants with your unexplorable knowledge. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Yeah. Good afternoon to all of you. Professor Chandan Ghosh, thank you for inviting me for this session. Maybe your expert area or experience, or maybe my age. So uh, I, I am a small beginner in front of your experience and your team's experience. But whatever I have done along with my students and my supporting team, I would like to share. I'll share the screen. Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'll move on to like some of the applications that what we have done and how it works. Now, if you see over here, the first slide where in which you have a river which has been mapped maybe for 200 meters on both the sides, and next you have an agriculture applications that is being where in which you are able to identify the chlorophyll content and NDVI value. And the next image you can find there is an solar panel under inspection. So we are using a thermal drone and we are trying to do it. Now, so how this can be used for community? Basically what we expect is the civilian applications. So how that it can be used and how it can be applied. Now, these are some of the typical examples that is shown, wherein which you'll be able to find the land terrain models, the LIDAR applications which are there for high precision surveying. There is an agricultural applications that is there, wherein which we can elevate intelligence by using drone applications, either in terms of chemical spray or an imagery analysis, and then try to get the best information out of it, or make in India drone components which follow the government norms, make students tomorrow to become an entrepreneur and try to build their own drones by using. So of course, to in addition of building and designing, there is also lot many applications that has come. It can be an app-based development. It can be an application of AI into any of these teams. So now, if you can see my camera feedback, there is one small model. Professor Chandan Ghosh, it may be very close to his heart. So this is one of the 3D printed model that you can see, wherein which an IIT Jammu campus in the preliminary stage has been captured, and then we have 3D printed it. So you can see over here, It's a nylon powder that is being solidified to get a 3D printed model out of it. And how it is being done? Basically, it is an photogrammetric application that is being there, and we are able to do the. So now, suppose what we do is basically we try to hope my screen is also visible. I'm trying to apply the load the net.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah. So you can see over here, there's a Jammu campus that is being there, and you can see the annotations over here, and whatever measurements we can do it. Then we'll be able to go to other locations. We can see the high resolution maps over here, and we'll be able to take any information that we want. Whereas compared to the Google Earth image, if you see over here, it is the other side is very low, whereas in detailed annotations are very high. So now if you see, we'll be able to use a tool, try to measure the distances and try to get the information accordingly. So now you can see the length that is there. So this is a typical example, and how an drone can fly. It can take information and then be applied. So what is the end product is over here, right in my hand, completely a 3D rendered model. And you can see over here, IIT Jammu campus. You can see here the IIT Jammu that has been written. There's no painting at all onto this. It is completely 3D printed by using HP a printer, wherein which a nylon powder gets solidified, and then we'll be able to process it with the sandblasting. And you can see the lawn area, the bus, solar panels, the multiple floors, the construction activity. We'll be able to get the dimensions out of it. So suppose if there is an gutter over here, we'll be able to measure that gutter, which identify the cross sections out of it and try to do. So the length, cross section, all those information can be identified. So now let me go back onto the slide and proceed further with the information. So now, before we build any drone, we try to do a small drone so students can build themselves before rather going on to an live bigger scaled drones. So along with me, I have a staff, Mr. Manish. So you can see over here, it's a small scaled drone, completely 3D printed, and it is designed by using aluminum 3D printed parts, carbon fiber rods over here, wherein which students try to build an indoor drone and protect it for a case study. Then they try to incorporate all the obstacle avoidance that can develop. We try to prefer students using completely open source so that the next batch can take the advantage of it and proceed further from the application. So now if you see over here, it's a lightweight frame, and from this they try to build drones which can lift a payload of, this can carry hardly a few grams of additional payload. Payload can be cameras or an environmental monitoring devices. But move on to a drone as shown over here as an which can carry up to 10 kg, 20 kg or more than that. So before
Sir,
we start,
so sorry
hello.
to interrupt you in between. Sir,
Yeah.
like the model you are showing now, I think it's not visible properly. Just in
Yeah.
case, just to show the model,
Yeah.
please close your screen first so
Okay.
that your picture will be clipped. And again, after the showing the demonstration, yeah,
Yeah.
this is better.
It's visible now.
Yes, sir, it's clearly
Yeah.
visible.
So this was the indoor model that we were talking about, wherein which the students have built and which carry some small payloads less than 100 grams, and they try to use an all open source technique and try to. So it's completely built in-house uh, by 3D printing, carbon fiber rods, aluminiums, open source techniques, and other things. So now, before we proceed further, Manish will showcase a bigger octocopter, which can be used for higher payloads. So you can see over here, very heavy device. This was built, integrated in-house, wherein which you can see how big it is. and it can carry a payload of 3 kgs or so, and fly based on the number of batteries parallel that we can. So it is an octocopter. Why? Because we have 8 rotors we have used. So basically what you saw was an quad rotor, where in which 4 rotors were there, and here you have an 8 rotor. All these comes under a class of vertical takeoff and landing systems, under a classification of multi-rotors. So now if you see over here, the payload below here that can be integrated can be anything. It can be an LiDAR that I am trying to showcase. It can be a camera for an RGB survey. It can be an environmental monitoring setup built by students to monitor the air sampling in and around, or it can be a small bucket kind of thing which can go into sea or river, different location, collect the water, and then come back, stack it up, and bring back to the laboratory. So the device or a payload can keep on changing. So we emphasize students to use as open source as possible. So one of the most thing that we showcase, we try to use is open source techniques. So what I'll do is I'll try to stop my video and go on to the full screen of the PPT.
Dr. Prithviraj,
Yeah, yes, sir.
I would like to, on behalf of the participants, because they come from different various walks of life, they are mixed. So in your laboratory itself, the drone that which you have shown just now, it was very, very nicely, it was showing, we are able to see in the screen. In your laboratory, can you switch on the drone, and in a controlled area, at least some rotors are moving and some payload are being attached? Just a live things within the controlled environment in the room itself. That things are switch on and then see that, just you, if you can.
Because the problem is here. There's one workshop that's parallelly going on. So all those drones are over there. It is on the other side of the area. If I just show my screen. So all the engineers from KIFB have come. So Kerala Infrastructure Board. So there is a 3-day hands-on session which we are giving on LiDAR. So I'll try, sir. I will in the meanwhile, I will just pause that and get the sum of the system.
That will be excellent. Just take there your camera or mobile camera somewhere with your students.
I will do that.
They can show some of those devices directly.
I will do that. I will do that. I will just call one of my staff and get it done. Can I get some minute? In the meanwhile, I'll play a video. I'll play a video.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. You can.
Okay.
Great. Is the voice audible?
Yes, sir, it's audible.
The video voice?
Yes, sir, it's perfectly fine.
Wise consider time is money, and LiDAR survey does just this, providing large and highly accurate data within a short period of time, which otherwise will take a huge amount of time or even when the area is inaccessible. So what is LiDAR? Light detection and ranging. LiDAR is a remote sensing method used to examine the surface of Earth. In this case, the device is mounted over an unmanned aerial vehicle to collect the data of the required area. Using the ground control station, the waypoints are created over which the drone has to fly. Monitoring of all the required sensors, drone health, ongoing flight progress, and GPS/GNSS connection is done with the GCS. LiDAR and photogrammetry devices are merged together so as to get highly accurate and precise data. The images captured through photogrammetry are stitched together, analyzed, and the processed data is merged with the LiDAR data so as to get a highly accurate data set with RGB colors. From this we can get the orthomosaic map, DTM, DSM elevation model from which we can obtain detailed measurements of any point in the area such as cutting and filling, area calculations, volume estimation, etc. And this data can also be used for creating 3D mapping and printing. Differential GPS was used for the geo-referencing of the whole project for centimeter-level accuracy of flight planning. Experts suggest LiDAR will be the basic building block for all future systems, and the future is here.
So what we saw now was a small demo of how these LiDAR systems we are using for civilian applications, especially for survey. So now all those videos what have been shared is basically on this YouTube channel called Center for System Design, wherein which there are multiple videos on all the projects that we do. So if you can, when I'm scrolling over here, there are multiple projects varying from e-mobility. These are some of the leg dem sessions related to drone that we do in Atal Tinkering Lab to inspire our budding young minds from the school, so that some corner of their mind, how they can design, build of drones, all those things can be visible. And also we also show the fun part of using the drones, how a big banner or a display panel can be lifted and showcased it. Now there are some other projects that we directly do with Indian Defense. We do with some of the port authorities for GIS layering, or it can be for thermal inspections, or maybe for an typical applications in the mapping. So all these are basically civilian applications. Maybe if I take a typical example over here, where in which our team has taken a case study in SIUD, it is a State Institute for Urban Development. So they had a case study where in which we have to use the drone techniques in cooperation with other techniques, where in which very precise survey can be done, and the authority can upscale and identify the loopholes that are there or some blockages are there in the existing system. So I'll just share
Digitization is the key
video.
to transformation.
Hope the screen is visible.
One such area
You
which
can
largely
give me the
depends on
feedback.
traditional methodology is the property record maintenance. By digitizing these records in addition to traditional record keeping, be a huge leap in this regard. SIUD, State Institute of Urban Development, Mysore has taken an initiative, and NITK being a premier institute and the
Is
front
audio
runner to
audible of
take
the video?
forward the technological advancements in the country, joined hands to conduct various surveys in the area with the aim of
So here you
digitizing
can
the whole
see
city to
how an
link the
actual case
database to the
study
maps
where
and
the drone
also to possess an
applications
accurate
integrated with other
demarcation of the
systems
whole
have been
town.
done, so that the cadastral mapping
Photogrammetry
can be
survey
upscaled
was
to
carried
the
out
actual
with
case, what it is.
RTK-enabled drone system to capture the images of the whole area, which will then
So you
be
can see
stitched
over
together
here.
to create an ortho, then be stitched together.
So I'll just pause it over
whole
here
area.
and showcase how an actual drone can be used, and how we try to follow the drone norms.
RTK-enabled drones.
So you can see here, it's an NPNT enabled drone. So here you can see it's a 360-degree obstacle avoidance. It's another open source product designed and built by students. A third-party remote controller from Futaba is being used, or a FlySky is being used, or a Taranis, whichever students are more comfortable with, because finally they are the ones who are going to test it and use it for the actual applications. So here you can see these rotors, and below you have a point and shoot camera. So there's a landing place, and over which the drone will take off, and it will try to fly on the precise path that has been given. To have a more precise flying, so what we to get a centimeter level accuracy, so we use an RTK based drone, wherein which real-time connectivity, so the base station connected on a tripod
system to capture the images of the whole area, which will then be stitched together to create an orthomosaic map with high accuracy and resolution. The revenue maps can then be overlaid over the derived orthomosaic map, making the whole area easily accessible with the map being linked to its database. This will also enable close monitoring of encroachment of land, illegal property construction, etc. Ground control points were established at various locations of the town, and differential GPS was utilized to get the accurate ground coordinates and geotag the whole area. To obtain the intricate
So this is one of the piece of additional equipment. Of course, it may not be directly connected to a drone, but this is a typical example of how an system will work. So this is an European product, wherein which we call it as a drive system. So we'll showcase that in
details of the densely populated areas inside the city. With very high accuracy and precision, Drive LiDAR was employed to get the point cloud data of the surveyed area.
So you can see over here, it is being connected onto an car. It's been using a suction cup. So the system is connected onto the car, and you inside the staffs who are operating it. So this keeps on scanning the entire surveyed area, and we'll be able to get the information.
A 360-degree walkthrough.
And then, after all these things, virtual reality and immersive techniques have been used for the entire city, so that an administrator can walk through virtually onto the entire area on the surveyed date, and he'll be able to get all the 360-degree information, like how is the gutter, how it is looking. See, basically, in all this high precision survey, we may get a centimeter level accuracy, and we'll be able to get the cross sections, the blockages, and other things. But finally, to feel for an administrator, the fastest way is to see how virtually we can immerse him or her into this system and visualize it in a better.
Of the whole city was administered for complete site documentation, which will help to inspect, validate, and comprehend.
Example, like the encroachment or the construction blocks that have been laid, the road blockage. So there will be some arrows that we have put so that he can have a virtual walkthrough, and this also can be connected onto an AR/VR system, so he can wear it and have the feel of the entire
the actual site conditions to that of its records. The applications of digitization are very vast and diverse. SIUD aims to.
So what we wanted to show is the entire application that has been done is independent on the operating system. So either it is an iOS based platform, in a Linux platform, or a Windows platform, or an Android, all those works independently, and there is no dependency, or it says it does not work. So that is how
address some of its major issues by digitizing the city in order to get an increase in revenue generation, improved administration transparency, ease in tax assessment, digitized property papers, monitoring and management.
Yeah, this is exactly what their end goals was. So try to identify tally their tax for they are paying for the land or the house, the number of floors they have constructed based on the permission allowed, the setbacks that they have given for the property along the construction, and any other optimization to identify the dump yard, or maybe identifying the drainage system that can be done, or is there any scope of improvement is there for the city, so that the administrators also can talk with the elected members of the civil body and civil bodies and
of various amenities. Planning of future facilities are a few of them. By the conduction of these technologically advanced surveys, NITK aims to facilitate SIUD with the digitized data to meet their various requirements, and also to take up many more projects of these kinds with greater extent in the near future.
PhD or a BTech, trying to solve an actual practical problem, wherein which they are able to get the output, and that is what we do. These are some of the out of the classroom projects, wherein which we say that along with reading engineering, you also need to do engineering. So to do engineering, we make our team to go out into the field work with the actual practical problems. If you see, one of our team today is in hands-on session with the KIFB, Kerala Infrastructure Development Board on LIDAR, and there's another team doing the bathymetry in Bangalore lakes, and there's another team which is trying to identify the amount of sand that is there on the river. So wherein which the team go across, use those data sets as a live work and implement and try to get their projects. Of course, there are some students group who work on the theoretical concepts, and their theoretical concepts or simulations will be validated by using the data sets what the other team goes onto the field and try to do. You ready? Yeah. So now, of course, this is an DIY system which is there, and there's another part which are trying to show wherein which there is an off-the-shelf ready application which we will try to show. So now, let me skip few things and directly go on one of the live application. So this is a typical example. Let me share that screen. Yeah. So now, if you see, this was a typical solar power plant, more than 17 acres of land. There's a small piece of which we have shown over here. There is a huge area where in which the thermal solar farm has to be inspected. Very crucial. Every 15 minutes they have to give an update to the grid so that the grid does not collapse. So they have to predict few things and update it. So there are many drawbacks when things that are exposed to the environment happen. So the solar panel would have been installed, but it would have not able to give a desired outcome. So now if you see, this is a typical solar thermal inspection that we do. So we connect the thermal camera onto the drone, and we'll be able to identify what are something called as hotspots. So now if you see over here, you can find some of the hot spots like white color spots where in which the temperatures are visible. So now what we will do is we will show off the shelf system how that is being made. I'll share the screen and you can see the live session. Yeah. So now where is the drone? Yeah, drone is over here. Manish, be there. Okay. Okay. So now you can hope 1 minute. I need to rotate the camera angle such that the screen is clearly visible. Yeah. Okay. Let me see, because 3. Let me turn off the light so that it will be clearly visible. Yeah, maybe it's better now. Manish, can you go in front of the camera? Yeah. Yeah, hope this screen there is yeah. Let me try to show. You have to be in front of camera. Yeah, 1 moment. Where are you now? I'm trying to focus one of our staff. Yeah, he's right here. Maybe it is not clearly visible onto the screen, but as you can see over here, there's a thermal hotspots that are there on his pocket. There is an object which is light where temperature is reduced. Another, yeah, kerchief or handkerchief. So there's a reduction in the temperature. So you can see over there. So that is what we would like to show. And maybe if you can bring this hand near, let me see whether best we can capture it. Yeah. So can you just show with the thermal? This is a drone. Okay. So you can see over here, there are two sensors. One is for video zoom, well, with the 30x, and there is another one with the thermal, and of course this is off-the-shelf product. There we have some of the products that was designed and built by us. Now it's been used for the workshop, and this has a redundant system like 3 GPS systems, 3 IMU units. It's something like our body having one as a backup, where in which if one fails, we can still survive. So accordingly, so you can see the video, yeah, and we'll be able to see. Of course, through the camera, we are not able to get the live feedback anyway. So that is how the system works. So let me go back onto the screen. I want to show is how a practical application of those systems can be used for identifying or solving the actual problem. So this is a typical example wherein which we try to compare the seashore at different timings. I'm trying to load the typical drone applications. So you can see over here, this is at there is an drone image that has been captured, and I tried to change the year of capture or the month of capture. You can see the change that is been there in the destruction of that area. So it's after the heavy winds or a rainy season, how the land has changed. So this is a typical example. So you can see over here, this is in December 21, and you have another example. Let me zoom over here, so you can see some of this infrastructure that are being completely washed away. So you can see a typical example. A complete infrastructure over here is been washed away because of an heavy rains next to the beach, or it can be a cyclone also. So what we are trying to do is how an ecotourism has been completely been destroyed during the natural calamities, and how it was before and what has happened earlier. So you can see over here, you can see here, so one of the infrastructure is still pending there, one is washed away. In after a year, both of these infrastructure assets have been washed away. So that is how these drone applications, so maybe satellites, the repetition maybe once in 6 months or some of the places, but drone can be backpacked, it can be taken, the administrators can be fly multiple times based on the size of the area, then use it for comparison and try to get the best results out of it. So this is some of the applications. Here what you see is only an aerial image, but what it can also be done is we can use it for air pollution monitoring, we can use it for water quality monitoring, and so on and so forth. So now how we can use it for an typical example wherein which we can use it for an coastal beach erosion study. So you can see over here, let me try to showcase it.
ನಾವು ಉತ್ತರ ಕನ್ನಡ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆ ಹೊನ್ನಾವರ ತಾಲೂಕಿನ
I'm just reducing this and going. The basically objective over here was how the devastations occurred along the coast of Uttara Kannada at Honavar, and what our objective was, how a drone application of periodic study can also see the soft measures that they have done or the hard measures that they have implemented and how it is performing along the coast. You can see over here, some of the trees have been uprooted, the open wells have been washed away, and we can find what is the amount of destruction that has occurred and the valuation how it has. So this is a typical example when a 3D printed model is there, and the engineers from Karnataka Research Engineering Station KERS are there, and they are from the coastal divisions going to the site in incorporation with the drone technologies, the GIS mapping and other things. So you can see over here, we are trying to do the map that area by using drone, and we try to fly over it and then take. You can see over here the protection measures, how it has performed. Take the inputs from the local people, understand how it was performing, what it has happened, and what is the current status. You can see here, entire wall or a slab of a septic tank is washed away. The building infrastructure have been badly damaged, and also validate these data sets with the satellite. Of course, because satellite data sets sometimes may not be very high resolution of what we try to get, or may not be accessible for all of our studies. Now, with all these things, we are able to integrate and try to get the best information. So we can see over here, more very precise the surveying that was happened. I just fast forward it and finally show the outcomes. So this is how the drone has been flown.
ಬೆಳಗಣಿ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಡ್ರೋನ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ತೆಗೆದ ಇಮೇಜ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಸ್ಟಿಚ್ ಮಾಡಲಾಗಿ NITK ಯಲ್ಲಿ ಲಭ್ಯವಿರುವ
all those images. So this is the dots indicates the way in which the drone has been flown, and the images have been taken, and you can see this pattern. This is the shoreline. There's another river mouth, and all those information, the plane which the drone is flown is
ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಈ ದಿನದವರೆಗಿನ ಅಪ್ ಟು ಡೇಟ್ ಏರಿಯಲ್ ಇಮೇಜಿನಿಂದ ಜಿಯೋ ರೆಫರ್ಡ್ ಮ್ಯಾಪ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಇವುಗಳಿಂದ ನಾವು ಉತ್ತಮ ಗುಣಮಟ್ಟದ ಕಾಂಟೂರ್, ಬೀಚ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಪಡೆಯಬಹುದಾಗಿದೆ. ಇವುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪಿಕ್ಚರ್ ಅಂದರೆ 1 ರೆಸಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಹೊಂದಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ಇವುಗಳಿಂದ ನಾವು digital terrain model,
multiple algorithms to identify the GIS application, to identify the erosion, accretions that happens along the sea and validate them. So this was one of the way in which our application has gone of using RGB camera. So let me just check with my team to show another demo that is possible with the thermal thing. Yeah, so you can see over here on the behind there is an historical change. On the right hand side there is a thermal expression. So now here, let me see. Let me stop this screen. Turn on the camera. Is it visible? Yes. Yeah. Hope now the screen is clearly visible. Manish, can you stand there? Yeah.
Now it is visible.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So hope Professor Chandan, we have kept your request. Sorry for that. Last moment. Okay. So you can see the temperature change. Over there, you would have kept the wet handkerchief. and on the other side there's a temperature change. Mobile, Manish, can you remove your mobile? Yeah. So the mobile is that. Can you turn on the LED light of it? LED light of it. Torch light, yeah. Yeah. So you can see over there, there's a small temperature change that is there, and you can slowly kneel down.
What is that blue colored in his right thigh? What is that
That
blue
is
colored?
wet handkerchief. Wet handkerchief. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So actually, they say thermal cameras can also give temperature stresses. So
Okay.
now he can kneel down. Yeah.
So the
you can see
temperature
over here.
stresses will be different for the wet and dry handkerchief.
Yeah, wet and dry. So wet and dry, and so it can be used for agriculture pattern. It can be used for solar farm inspection, especially used for solar farm inspection or any night rescue. So our recent activity was catching an elephant. So our boys used this thermal drones, the same thermal drones, along with our another thermal drone, and they had actively participated in tracking an elephant, single elephant, wherein which it had attacked two humans, and there was a loss of life. So in order to trace where it is, our boys were there working throughout day and night, and at 3 a.m. they were able to track that elephant by using the thermal drones. And those thermal drones tracked the movement of the elephant in the forest, and it was validated by the rescue team going over there. Then our team also went accordingly. Then they were what they did was basically, thank you, Manish. And the veterinary team that was there, so they tranquilized it, and then of course they require 4 more elephants to capture it, tag it, and then using the crane, it needs to be lifted onto the uh, bigger vehicle and transported onto the rehabilitation center. So this is how our thermal application works. So if you see in local newspapers, you can find our team article that has come by Karnataka Forest Department, like how technology. It is first time in Karnataka where a thermal drone, because there was a call from Dr. Dinesh, who is a DCF, and our team went within 1 hour. All the arrangements, local hospitality was taken by the forest department. The boys were enthusiastic, and of course, you know that for them it is a new exposure, and the current generation boys, they want new every day. So same topic, if they give, they get bored. So what the temperature change, whatever we teach in lab, thermal differences, all those things, they have seen live, and they were able to track it. They were also able to identify where it is tending to move, and this is how it was done. So it appeared in some of the news channels, local medias, and local. So that was one of the contribution wherein which our team used thermal applications. And now the current recent work is that is going on is surveillance. The New Mangalore port ties up with NITK, and they do the drone surveillance once in a week randomly, day and night, and the team goes on the call as per the terms. Then use zoom cameras. We use also the thermal inspections and RGB, and the live feed is kept on to their existing huge number of CCTVs which are there, and they record the session. So this is how it happens randomly, and they try to do. Now let me showcase on the other product. So this is a typical example of an fixed wing, wherein which what we saw already was an multi rotors. It can be helicopter, or it can be single rotor, can be an helicopter. If it's tail rotor, it will be a main rotor and a tail rotor, or it can be multi rotors like quad rotors, hexacopters, or an octocopter. What we here you find is an fixed wing. It's something like our passenger aircraft, wherein which there's a huge model. Of course, this model is around now 13-14 years old. So it's a very old concept in which we have done that. So the telemetry devices are very crude. Nowadays, things have changed drastically over the period of time. This was when not many people were talking about drones. one of the applications that we had done was for forest department. They want to know the encroachment survey by flying the drones, and it should be as silent because a lot of elephants are there. Elephant will capture the light noise, slight noise variation, and they'll try to protect their cubs, and that is how it is. So they wanted to fly these these fixed wing. That is why the fixed wing option was taken. You can turn off the electric motor and glide it, and again give the thing and pitch up and try to take these photos. So here you can see the quality of image that has been captured, and all those images were stitched together to get the best information. So now that was for forest elephant tracking, thermal inspections, and so. So now how it can be used for agricultural department or minor irrigation department. So this was a typical example. You can see the Google Earth image over here, and there is an huge, there is a dam for something around 15 kilometers, and you can see over here, extreme left, there is a vented dam. There is a storage of water. Slowly, the water storage stopped reducing, and then the dryness increases in the river bed. And there's another dam that is under construction. So their objective was to identify the feasibility of new dams, and also to identify the way in which the performance increases. So let me share a small video out of here. Yeah. So here there is a typical example of an surveying application for an for a minor irrigation department. So let me go back. So how we can integrate things and try to get the information.
Ancient text quote, Jalam Jeevhayati Jagat, meaning water is life. Water being such an elixir of life, its preservance and replenishment becomes our utmost priority. Our government of Karnataka has taken a step closer towards water conservation and eradicating water scarcity, and has initiated a project, Paschima Vahini, for constructing series of small-scale vented dams along the length of the west-flowing rivers in the Western Ghats. Numerous surveys were conducted at the dam site using the latest technologies at Center for System Design and Water Resource and Ocean Engineering Department of NITK, Suratkal, in collaboration with Minor Irrigation and Groundwater Development Division, with the aim of assessing and quantifying the scientific and economical benefits of the vented dams constructed by the Paschima Vahini project. Resistivity survey was conducted at suitable locations to collect the underground features of soil, such as type of soil present, aquifer properties, etc., to analyze the degree of groundwater recharge due to the construction of these dams. To acquire the data of the total volume of water stored, as well as to obtain the details of underwater ground surface, bathymetry survey was conducted. LiDAR survey was carried out at the dam site to collect the details of all features above the surface of Earth. This will create a complete virtual 3D model, which can be used to take any kind of measurement such as volume estimation, area coverage, etc. of the dam site. Virtual reality was also employed in this 3D model. Photogrammetry survey was also done to create a photorealistic virtual walkthrough with 360-degree view of the site. To get the ground coordinates, differential GPS was employed at the dam site. To assess the quality of fresh water, water quality analysis was carried out, and various water quality parameters were studied in detail. Google Earth Engine tools were also used to analyze various parameters such as land use, land cover, variation in temperature, and vegetation cover. Feedback forms were prepared with some basic questionnaires and were distributed among the villagers to know about their experience after the dam construction. These dams not only have scientific benefits but also help in the economic growth of villages near the dam site. The construction of a vented dam not only stores water but is also accompanied by many other benefits such as improvement in water quality, spread of greenery due to groundwater recharge, no land submergence. The dam can also help in joining the shores of the river and be a means of communication. The conduction of these surveys will give us a better understanding of the soil-water relationships and will help us to take a huge leap in efficiently planning future water conservation programs. These data can be used to propose future sites for vented dam construction under the Paschima Vahini project, thus ensuring efficient use of funds as well as highest benefits to the people around.
Yeah. So what we wanted to show over here is basically how the systems can be used and how it can be integrated to drone technology. So you can see over here, there is a lidar, so it's a terrestrial lidar. There is an setup over here wherein which a kayaking system is being converted into an autonomous system, wherein which it can be remotely operated. People will be able to identify what is the depth along the river bed and then try to identify the any siltation is there across the river, so the storage of water can be increased, and identifying by using restrictive method try to identify the rock bed profile. So this is how the kayak, ordinary kayak which we use it for our adrenaline rush and trying to as a sports activity, is being converted into autonomous system. So we're placing two stabilizers on both the edge. There's an electric motor which is driving it. There's a GPS system on a controller board. There's an echo sounder which is left to it. So what happens is finally we will be able to merge those data set with the drone data and try to create a 360-degree information out of it, identify what is the performance, identify the water quality that is being stored, use the Google Earth engine and try to do the historical study and take the input from the people and finally give a collective output for the irrigation department. Like this many crores you have invested over the period of time, this is the output that what we have got. So in that respect, we were able to try to get the best information and give the output. So now what we actually did over here also was a demo that what we wanted. Professor Chandan Ghosh was saying that how the virtual reality and other things were showcased. So let me just do the slideshow and try to show a live demo possible. Yeah. Wherein which any site, any lab will be able to show the simulation or use a drone application, create a virtual walkthrough, tag those information, try to get the 360-degree out of it. So you can see over here, it's a typical dam construction site. And people will be able to go, or administration can be go on the walkthrough, try to see or monitor how the system is working. Is there anything that have to happen, or based on the forecast, weather forecast, is there any optimum thing that they can do so that their equipment and machineries don't get washed away? So these are some of the typical examples of the decision tools that can be used, because this kind of data sets cannot be taken for a application through satellite. Maybe it's a capturing rate may be different for the common use. So now we will be able to, the construction management team will be able to take the information from these kind of things. So you can see over here the number of dewatering pumps, number of cranes which is used for concreting, number of the other infrastructure that is there, and what if there is a flash flood on the Western Ghat, and how this system will behave. Will it get carried away? And you can see on the other side there are a lot of pumps which are dewatering, so that the bridge come sewage, bridge come saltwater exclusion dam can be effectively constructed. So this is an typical application how we try to give the drone applications into AR, VR, and it's not necessary that it should be actually a high-end device like Oculus Rift. It can be a simple product, a maze of laser cut, and then try to do. So now coming on to an agriculture applications. So this is a small video documentary which tells about it, and all the videos that you have seen till now, I should say that actually all work of our students, including editing, doing it, capturing it, data processing it, and getting the work.
Department of Water Resource and Ocean Engineering, in coordination with the Center for System Design, begins a journey to bring elevating intelligence using drones to address farmers' woes. Though agricultural decisions are subjective in nature, use of technology can indeed help quantify human intervention, allowing right and timely mediation to gain profitability. And profitability is what would sustain this industry, despite the vagaries of nature and manpower which can overwhelm this industry. The department offered a novel practical case study in conjunction with a theory course. The next step was to proceed to study a farm with its own set of challenges like diminishing soil health and failures in drip irrigation system causing crop distress. Being unfamiliar with the intricacies of farming, a select team of staff and students proceed on a journey to get a first-hand interactive field study to gather details of farming. This is highly essential because every individual grower would have their own sets of problems, and so whatever products or solutions may finally be arrived at by using technology should be beneficially reaching the target population. This study, however, does not claim to tide over all other previous farming solutions, but is a definite one step to farming profitability. The staff and students of NITK gets a taste of the farmland and map the area under study. Once a clarity is reached on what information could be most beneficial to the grower, they set forth with the multispectral camera machine learning tools to take the raw aerial footage using a drone. The data then is allowed to immediately run through a software for processing and arrive at a base layer of the information. Multiple imagery at different times, that is during the growth of the plants and seasonal changes, provides further data for analytical processing. Using this technology, the actual number of plants, their individual health and nutrition levels, and also an in-depth analysis of the weeds could be gathered, thus providing the grower with loads of beneficial information which was otherwise not possible in the past.
NITK ಸುರತ್ಕಲ್ ಇವರ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಸತತ ಉಪಯೋಗ ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ನೆಲಕಡಲೆಯ ಗದ್ದೆ, ಭತ್ತದ ಗದ್ದೆ,
feedback from the farmers,
ತೆಂಗಿನ ತೋಟಗಳು ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ಬೆಳಿಬೇಕು, ಯಾವುದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಅದರಿಂದ ಉಪಕಾರ ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದು ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ಅವರ ಡ್ರೋನ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಫೋಟೋ ತೆಗೆದು ಅದರ ಸೆನ್ಸಾರ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಆ ವಿವರದಿಂದಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಏನು ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಯಾಕೆ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಡ್ರಿಪ್ ಇರಿಗೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕಲ್ತುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಆ ಕಲ್ತುಕೊಂಡ ಇದರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಈಗ ಪ್ರಯೋಗದ ನೀರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂಥದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಹತ್ರ ನಾವು
that has been done by the Karnataka government and the information. So now if you see how an actual case study of a farmland is being taken by the students group and they try to implement. So this is one of the applications wherein you saw in the initial case it was surveying by using high precision lidar. There was another example wherein which thermal drones was used to identify the temperature range, and the actual case was for elephant tracking and other things. And there's another application wherein which
the government of India, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, have been proactively participating to introduce the breadwinners of our country to use technology at every level, like smart farming, which has definitely shown better yield.
For day-to-day life in solving the societal
This has been one of the many such initiatives within
either it can be a DIY
where a
project
department plans to
wherein which
introduce its students
from
to
starting to
real-time
end, or it
problem-solving
can be an
methods
existing
using
drone that
the
is being
theoretical
applied
knowledge,
that is
while the
available in the
technological
market,
support like
use the data
drones are
set
provided
and
by the
then
Center
try
for
to
System
solve
Design.
the problem. So these are how some typical examples wherein which students can do. So let's say this we already discussed, and this is how the thermal imaging application works. And finally, I would like to show how a multi-rotor works. So let me stop sharing the screen and let me turn on the live video. Yeah. Helicopter. Yeah. So let me showcase an helicopter, wherein which it's a combination of the existing RC helicopter, and it can be converted into autonomous. So this is how it is. You can see it's a Raptor 50 existing model, which is been converted into autonomous by using the Pixar Cube. And you can see, let me share the screen over here. Yeah. So you can see a typical example of how an fire can be captured or a vehicle tracking can be captured. These are the typical examples. You can see over here. There's a fire that's been tracked. It's of or this is the actual helicopter basin with an all base. So it can be electric. So multiple applications are there. So now I would like to end with a small note telling that it is not only drones, but you actually also can do the things by using kites. So this is a typical example that we used to use some of the kites where drones are not allowed, and you need permissions, and or there is some safety measures where in which a drone application is not allowed. So we used to have built kites. This is by using rooftop nylon cloth, and it's around 12 feet size, and some are something like 30 feet width. And then we try to tie an Kevlar rope, and over here you can see there is an pickup mechanism, so over which a DSLR camera or a point and shoot camera can be integrated, so that it does the self-balancing, and other mechanism like remotely operation, taking the photos, all those things can be remotely operated. So you can see a image taken out of it is an old ruined site at Kerala, wherein which the study of those locations they were able to get. There are some places, it's not only that drones may not be allowed, but if there's any wind and if the kite is able to manage it, we can still get a bird's eye view and solve the problem. So this is what I would like to showcase it, and maybe once again show some of the small video feed. Manish, that multi-rotor. Yeah. So this is a typical example of an hexacopter, wherein which there's a gimbal which is used for photogrammetry, and there is an so there is an 6-rotor system that is there, and it's a GPS completely runs on open source, and students can use it on a click of a button. Based on the missions that is required, they'll be able to take launch and get back onto the mission. It can be used for coastal monitoring, it can be used for environment monitoring. The payload just keeps changing, but we'll be able to give the end application. So these were some of those which we wanted to showcase. Before we end up, I would like to show some of our close associates other than us, how they have done in their application. So this is a typical application of one of my friend. Let me share the screen. Yeah. The company is called Model Aviation and Helicam, headed by Mr. Adarsh.
Presenting the Chakra, the helicopter UAV, which created history for the first time in Southeast Asia, a commercial drone delivery of COVID vaccines. Done for ICMR in Manipur, India. The task was to drone delivery vaccines from district hospital to primary health care centers. The Chakra helicopter UAV lifts off autonomously carrying the vaccines in the refrigerated box, climbs to the predetermined altitude and flies towards the delivery location. The UAV's route the altitude, the speed and the delivery location is to be pre-fed to the UAV
Of
or
course,
can
this is
also
not
be altered
our work.
mid-flight.
One of our
The Chakra helicopter UAV
Mr.
lands at the predetermined
who has
delivery
this company
location,
called Model
places the
Aviation and
vaccine box,
Helicam,
and takes off again and flies
which
back
tied up
towards its
and
home
they
location.
delivered these kind of things for ICMR. So the helicopter that we saw was
The
something
Chakra
similar to it.
helicopter UAV can also deliver multiple payloads to multiple locations in one single mission. The visuals you are watching are all actual, live delivery missions, and not mock-up trials.
आपने देखा होगा टीवी पे अखबार में मणिपुर में ड्रोन से ऐसे क्षेत्रों तक कोरोना के टीके तेजी से पहुंचाए गए जहां इंसानों को पहुंचने में बहुत देर लगती है.
This was work that Mr. Adarsh has been done along with other subordinates to this company. So I wanted to showcase because because we are closely associated for not this project but for other projects which our team is doing, and they are able to deliver. So with that, so you saw a typical example. With that, I would like to stop my presentation and then have an interaction session. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Like you have explained and elaborated in a very sophisticated manner. I think you covered all the aspects of the drone application, starting from the construction technology, its application in the virtual reality application in urban planning field with the cadastral mapping, and in agriculture sector, and how these advanced surveys will give us the efficient results that can be. It's a revolutionary technology, I think, and its application is quite. You have elaborated the process flow, its mechanism, and how it works. This thermal mapping, it's a very huge technology, and if we are using these kind of technologies, then the results and its output will be beneficial in a very I think when we will do the normal analysis, it took a lot of time, and this kind of technologies applications and its time taking analytical power will be reducing, and it's quite time saving manner. So huge application field. So thank you, sir, for your nice presentation. You have, I think, demonstrated, I think, fulfilled the purpose of our webinar, that is the live demonstration session. I think all of your case studies and the live projects you have elaborated, it's quite demonstrated manner. You've also like showed us the multiple helicopters, the fixed technology and its sensor application and all. So thank you, sir. I think the participants will learn a lot, learned a lot from your sessions, and it's very interesting session, I must say. So thank you, sir. I will hand it over to Ghosh, sir, if you want to add few of the points in this to it.
Yeah. So I think it's a superb way of connecting science and technology to the common people. As I said, that our participants over here, they are from the various backgrounds, and they are joining these courses by registering in our website, and which is available across the globe. Anyone can join, provided they are giving some basic information, and those basic information including mobile number, email, and also Aadhaar card or some identification. So all the participants, they are having certain basic information that which is to be filled up into our website, and then they get participation in such kind of webinars. And once they registered, and then they can join any of these kind of activities whenever they are scheduled. So one thing is that from the very basic, like Dr. Prithviraj, as I knew him, the person more than 13 years, means in 2010-11, in fact, he started his main hobby and took it as a passion. Now it has come to a profession, that making drone by himself, and then adding whatever advanced technologies available across the globe, including the LiDAR camera, which they have procured, and it is all assembled, and also taking up various such live projects. Live in a sense, they are all practical projects, and then making their website and their laboratory, as well as all student young researcher, they start their career in the system science laboratory at NITK, and they get hands-on practices, not only in the laboratory, but also in the field. I think all participants and those who have joined us online over seeing the YouTube, which is also available as it is without any editing or anything. It is also shown live in the YouTube. So you have got all kind of application using drone. Of course, not about the usual way of flying a drone in a marriage hall or in an anniversary or in a gathering. That is the most preliminary application to the common people, that with a camera take the video, and with a hand control or with the local inside room controlled way. But it has come to our day-to-day life, not only in disaster management, but also Dr. Prithviraj has shown about his application about the mapping of the city areas or people that who are living, and also agriculture area, identifying inundation, identifying that the agricultural crops, whether it is failed or not, and giving a distinct color, and then calculating it, developing software and algorithm, and then giving a requisite information to the agriculture, forestry, city managers, municipalities to take up. And most striking is taking up all the line agencies in the state and across the country. And especially because Mangalore city and Surathkal Institute itself, it is in the Arabian Sea side. So how the protection measures in the coastal area have been effective enough, and taking their engineers, Karnataka, I think, Karnataka engineering, I think one research agency in the Karnataka state.
Yeah, KERS.
KERS.
Engineering Research Station.
Research. So bringing them, taking their feedback, identifying each and every centimeter cube of the coastal area, where we saw that during the photographs are showing that where measures have gone right and where measures have gone wrong, and the kind of protection measures that where it has failed or where they are still operational, having a vivid and visual observation of that, and taking decision and customizing all this field-based information to the organization that they are attached to, and then taking effective measures that which can reduce the damages, or which can also help them to take up some of the mitigation measures in the coastal area, for example. So I think it is, and also inside the laboratory, what Dr. Prithviraj have shown about the thermal camera, and showing them that how it is taking the imagery. And regarding that, let us have few minutes, if you have, of interaction. Dr. Prithviraj, you have few minutes?
Yeah, sure. So I will like to share one small thing. Maybe it is you would have missed that in presentation.
Yeah, related to railway sector, right? So,
railway sector, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, okay, please.
In the meanwhile, people can pose questions, so I'll just keep the things.
Yes, this is to inform you that please raise your questions at your the chat box, or raise your hands, or else I will randomly shuffle the participants from the participant list to the panel list, so that we can have a healthy discussion in between. So choose your options.
So here you can see a typical example of an railway, where in which a landslide they wanted to get, like, first is do a survey, and there is a post survey, pre-survey, and so let me just, so these are some of the information they wanted. Very, so if you see, then it's not one image. So they have done some enforcements and some protection measurements, and how drone applications can be used. Nowadays, what happens is everywhere there is a LiDAR application that is going on. It can be the LiDAR, the drive system. I'll share a small video how a drive system works, but it was focused to drone, so I kept that out. But I'll show it this end now, how it can be connected, and it can go across the rail track to one of the train and scan all around and try to capture the information that can be used in later days to come. So you can see here very precise information that we are able to capture and give them. So you can see over here, there's a huge issue that had popped out. So you can see the survey. There's another slide. Landslide has happened, fall, and let me go out. Yeah, over here. Yeah. And we'll be able to also get the cross section out of it. It's not one image. It is multiple number of images, so that we'll be able to get the three-dimensional point of it. So that is what I wanted to tell. So applications are many. Only based on the problem, we keep on changing the payloads. Over to you, sir.
Okay. The first thing is that recently, Glof or lake south in the Sikkim, that lake has outburst has happened. And what we are seeing that, of course, I have not visited the site. Very soon, probably we'll be taking a team over there, and NDMA team has gone there. Many people have visited there. But what we are seeing in the news on media and other things and from the scientific community is that they are only giving descriptions about the before images and after images, or during nothing is there. Or say it happened on 3rd October night, means 4th early morning. And what is a newspaper and scientists or those who are very good at reading the data on taking the satellite imageries before and after, they are simply commenting there that, oh, lake size was so many acres on this date, and after that it has reduced. It means that lake water has come down, which is a reality. But thing is, there it is at that height, Chungthang area, the dam that has broken or overtopped the entire area, which is about 600-700 acre area, and the devastation has taken place. I think the kind of know-how that you have visualized using the drone, do you think that the drone has the capability to fly in a freezing area, especially the problem site that has taken place on the 3rd, 4th October? And in case that is there, then we can have some. Do you have the team that who can be taken out there and then survey the things, and the kind of like in the railway part that you have shown the inundations, and which we are able to see the cracks, that even some centimeter level of cracks can be identified. So which will be more realistic to survey the damaged area right now. And then it will be a very good estimating of the loss and damages to the state government and to the Ministry of Home Affairs and NDMA, because we have been conducting number of post disaster need assessment team is there, and for that some guidelines are made in 2008 through World Bank. But having a drone survey, like as you have the capability, and I think many other teams are also there, but we can find a way to take your team over there and make a comprehensive estimate of the elevations that has happened, right? Not only from the satellite. Yes, satellite data is there, but they cannot give so much correct so much accuracy. So what you need, we do not need millimeter or micromillimeter accuracy. We need a acceptable estimate of the damages and loss, that which you have just now you have shown before this. And is it possible? Then in that case, we can take up this matter to the respective agency to conduct a survey in that area and take your team.
Yeah, it is possible, sir. It is possible. And it is the main thing that NITK can offer is based on a government institute, being education institute. Our manpower is our strength. The young minds is our strength. Yeah. It is not only capturing the data. So after capturing the data, the team, how they integrate and try to use tools. So it is not Prithviraj may be presenting it, but behind me there's a huge team that is working behind. So if you see, except the last slide, wherein which the drone flew and did the vaccination, all other work, including video documentation report, was by our team, students team and staff's team. Yeah. So similarly here also, going there, taking data, there are many people. Along with that, the team also can integrate, merge with NIDM,
okay,
and try to give a technical output. So and also do some case studies accordingly. And that is the most important. It's not only an image, but data that comes out of it, the application that comes out of it, and the analysis that comes out of it. That is what we want to look forward.
Okay.
So that is definitely possible. Both are government. It will be easy. It will be easy for us also.
Yeah.
And our boys will be thrilled the moment you say live project. So it's the best way for them to what they have studied in the books, to interact with their respective things. We may be having drones, but there may be a geotechnical expert in civil engineering department. So they get their mentors also. It is not only one. So I may be presenting here, but there's a back-end team and they are supporting faculty or mentors. So that is what happens in academic institute also. And we'll be able to collectively able to give.
Yeah. So in this case, is there any limitation that drone may be facing? Because the lake that where glaciers has broken, it is about 5 kilometers above the mean sea level, but the lake is much lower. Is there any limitation in the battery and operation?
I mean, it will be having the temperature. The battery will be having like self heaters, so that heating technologies will make the battery to safe warm. The older batteries and all did not have those heating thing, and they would used to collapse, or a lithium polymer would used to fail. But nowadays those things are ruled out, because nowadays batteries are smart and they react based on the environment.
Okay. Wow.
So it's possible. It is possible.
So regarding the battery and the charge, like there is one questions from our participants. I think Chandra Madhavji, you can just turn off your mic and you can ask directly to sir. Are you there? Hello, Mr. Bhattacharji? Okay, I'm reading his question. So his question is that how much time that the tools or the drones that are using, it can fly with full charge.
Yeah, so basically it depends on what kind of drone we are using. Suppose if you are using something like an 1 kg drone or something like that, so based on the payload that is there, it can fly for 30 minutes or 45 minutes. In some places, what we do is we don't use electric, we use methanol based drones, wherein which the fuel tank that matters, and we'll be able to fly for a few hours. And then make it like, whereas electronics are there which makes it autonomous, that is a different thing. And nowadays we also get hybrid drones, wherein which there's a fuel based system which is charging the battery also, and there is an thing. So basically the flight time, so suppose the drone octocopter that we showed, if the payload is only 300 grams, then it will easily fly for 30 minutes. Now the moment if I add 1 kg 2 kg, then the flying time comes down to 20 minutes. And if I make still more heavier, so that it can fly heavier in the sense still it flies easily, then the flying time reduces. It's not that you add too much of weight and becomes imbalanced, but there is a maximum takeoff weight that can happen. So accordingly, that weight we had, then of course the flying time will reduce down. So there is, like, it varies from model to model. It varies from type of fuel that is used. It can be electric based on lithium polymer, or it can be a fuel based system which is powering it. Usually helicopters or fixed wing can be an fuel based system, fuel in the sense a liquid fuel based system, rather than the multi-rotors usually are electric. So that is all dependent on batteries. Nowadays 30 to 40 minutes easily is possible.
Okay, sir, there is one more question from my side. Like, you are also showing that sometimes we have some security issues with flying with the drones, and we may can use the kites instead of that. So how feasible, like, during when we are using like kite as a technology, then which type of, like, either the switched or electric based or the methanol based, whatever you are explaining right now, that these batteries, like, how feasible it basically, like in.
Yeah, kite is basically used where there is wind, and because it has to take off to fund. And what we usually use is Rocaco based kites, which are very good for very less wind and take more payload. So Rocaco is a word that has been generated from Japanese word, which we have used for war, very ancient war, to showcase there's more number of soldiers which are protecting it. So those kind of techniques. So there's a bow which will bend. Those bending amount of bend that you do will help based on the wind speed that is there, and more flat is less wind, more bent it is for heavier winds, so the curvature changes, and then we'll be able to lift off heavy payloads. So those system will be used, and of course cameras and other things will be triggered by using electric. So if it's a small lithium polymer battery or NIMH battery to trigger those mechanisms. Otherwise it is a wind power. Not that every places you can fly this.
Sir, cameras are heavy, right? Like that, how it can carry?
It can. The kites are something like 12 feet in size, like double the size of ours. Some are something like 15 feet. So though it can, and those the ropes are made of Kevlar, so we will be able to lift up those heavy weights. So 1.5 kg, 2 kg easily we can lift. So what we do is first make the kite to fly. When it is stable, then in between we actually make the camera system to go. Then we still leave the kite rope so that the camera will come at a height of 50 to 60 feet. Then keep on changing what accuracy we want, we accordingly do. So along with the kite, when we initially fly the kite, we don't fix the camera because there's a chance of collapsing. So when it becomes stable after a particular height, then we release the kite, and then we do. This technique is called as kite aerial photography. We call it as CAP.
Okay.
And there is a CAP, and there is a mechanism called picavette, which makes, it's a one rope which goes to 6 to 7 times everywhere, and then we will be able to
That's a brilliant technique. Like, basically, wind is the key trigger in this case. Like, for other type of system drones, like this, the electric power and the fuel is the key role to play, and here the wind is the key role player.
Yeah. So what happens is most of the forest locations where in which they say flying drone is not allowed, or maybe some places where in which drones are not allowed due to some reasons. So that time this kite can actually play a vital role.
Okay.
So there's a last small video which can be beginning to a next session that we plan as a joint workshop. If allowed, I would like to play it.
Yeah, please.
Sure, sir. Sure.
This is called as Project Search. So let me play this.
Control Program for TS590.
Yeah, so this was the small clipping where we actually intend to do the workshop. So the project is called as Search, SEARCH, wherein which autonomous drone hand communication for disaster risk reduction, high-end antennas which are 70 feet, 90 feet height above the beach, and we will, and there's autonomous boats which are which can be used for search and rescue. So this is what I wanted to show, and that is how the system can work. And so this is done as a pilot-based project next to our in our college campus, next to the beach, wherein which it's a container-based thing where a drone will land on an recharge center. There's a communication tower. There's a dry dock which can be used for maintaining. You would have seen an outboard motor. That outboard motor is not a regular fuel-based; it's an electric-based. So SCG Automotive, which does motors for Indian-based companies, they sponsored us the electric motors, and we are using it to run this as an electric-driven boats that can be used for fun yaks, or it can be used for catamaran boats, and later in days to come to be used for fishermen communities. So there was a dirt bike which can be used for search and rescue, which can be used for emergency with a first aid kit that can go, and drones can use for thermal vision to see a surveillance. It can also monitor the water quality, air quality, and the mangrove health plantation that is there, or any change in land use, land cover in that region. So we try to integrate different technologies in a small portion of the land and use it as a portable. So there's a container, all the stuffs will be in that container. You want to duplicate it, you take the entire container and mount it elsewhere. So that is the concept, and we would like to.
Sure, we are planning to have a 3 days program with you next month around this time.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a complete live simulation of that during that program. And so I think one thing is just coming to my mind is that like you are sitting in a room, I am also sitting in my room.
Yeah.
There are certain drone, and of course it all depends on software and hardware control using particular software language.
Yeah.
And based on that, drone, like whatever some of the drone that it is being shown, it is in open air. There is no particular hindrance. It is all open. Like if it has to go through some of the disaster site area, like you have just mentioned about that, that it can also take care of the air pollution or water level indicator through photogrammetry, as well as it has got some sensors like thermal photographs and everything it can take.
Yeah.
But there are certain site situations where, like now, more than 100 people are still missing in the Gulf affected area in Sikkim. Of course, in this case, they do not have any kind of SOS, any kind of electronic some card where GPR rated ground penetrating radar, or it is called some kind of sensors consisting of radio communication. So there are now, these are very much available. So once drone fly, this radio communication like LoRa based sensor, which we had one of the webinar series based on demonstration of those sensors also. And it has got multiple in one such package. 6-7 sensor can be integrated there.
Yes.
And all 6-7 of them will give those data, and those can be connected through their communication 853 megahertz, whatever particular range of communication range are given. But when drone will be flying, and as well as there are certain kind of smart card, RFID card, RFID also gives certain and within certain range. If drone flying or drone surveillance is customized to take in a disaster situation, like in Sikkim, that whatever has happened. And having this kind of gadgets or this kind of sensors available there in the ground, or before the disaster, if we can create a scenario that all these gadgets will be given to the people over there, and drone will sense that whether they are live or their situation, their location, how many of them are there. So once it can be integrated through the drone, and drone can be made to fly to those restricted, constricted area with proper programming, so that it can crawl, it can go up, down, go to the lane by lane, and then take those information.
Yes, possible, sir, possible. And one of the thing that we attempted something similar was for the farmland. So the pineapple farmland. So there were a lot of issues in the farmland when the pineapple actually comes and it's ripe. So it can be pig or it can be wild boars. So what they wanted is we integrated a lot of PIR sensors and other motion detection sensors. And in the farmland, which is huge land on a hilly slope, when it detects any in that area, when it detects any motion or any danger to the crop, then there's an LoRa which will trigger the drone. The drone will take off from that, go there, do a video recording, loiter around it, and come back. So wherein which those information by connecting to the sensors which are over there happens with the drone, and drone will be able to go, and otherwise you may have to invest on CCTV cameras, and the crop yield will happen once in 3 months. So investing on so much was expensive for the farmer. So we try to incorporate this technique wherein which it is used only when it is required. So that and can be shifted to another location where the yield time is different. So something similar to it is an air sampling unit wherein which the quality of air also can be monitored and it can be integrated. And APRS techniques is one wherein which the ham operators also can integrate with the data transfer. If the communication through satellite or the GSM networks have failed, we will be still able to use these ham frequencies, provide frequencies and the licenses and communicate the data sets. Professor Chandan? Hello? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were able to, we have done that, and to some extent, and we'll be able to do as what you, we will be jointly able to do as what you have said also.
Okay.
It is possible.
Okay. Great. I think today, let us, we are exactly just on time.
Yeah.
Although questions will be there, but I think present participants are, I think they have got the glimpse of drone application other than simply taking marriage hall camera for photo shooting. And I think now with this note, let us say that today's this session is effective enough to the community, and the kind of technology that for helping the community and applying them. It is a tool, but behind the tool and technology, yes, your team is there, and tools and technology and community, it is all to be connected, all being connected, and you have shown the live example of that various application. And I think it is a win-win situation to take this to the ground level situation, which you have shown mostly not by PowerPoint slides, rather live examples through video, and also showing some of the live, simulation, not rather simulation, demonstration from your lab where you are sitting through your students. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Very soon we are going to meet in physical mode at NITK.
Yeah. So there's one question which they
Yes,
asked,
sir.
can we use this drone setup for community-based radio? Community-based radio, do you mean it is something like ham? Yeah. So it is, yes, which is possible. That is why our search project is. So we have a ham, we have a drone, and a drone can be used for those kind of communication. We can integrate with the APRS, do wonders out of it. If everything fails, but using ham frequencies that we have, we can transmit data sets, we can push the data and get the things done. And there's one question also which asked whether are we capable of making drones that can be used in war zones. Yes, as my team, we are not into it. Why? Because of the constraints that what we have that to be used. But there are groups which are working on it directly with the defense sectors. We are mostly into the applications to civilian. Yes, we have done few applications where in which we go and catch the drone by using web and gas cylinders, or maybe thermal applications, identify what drone it is or follow it, though, or search and try for an droning person by using. But it's the military applications we have not done yet, and we.
Thank you, sir. Like it's very informative session, and it's very overwhelming presentation also. Like the way you explained, it's very like eye-catchy, and we understood the process being a layman perspective. Like we understood how it works, how the surveys are taken, how we take the ground control points, and how it will be integrated or inoculated in the analytical manner to get the better results. So and the young minds you have already talking that your organization is working that not only giving some kind of theoretical knowledge but also to the applying it to the ground scenarios, and they will also learn the practical knowledges and what the practical problems are there with the practical and informative and innovative solutions to it. So thank you, sir, for joining us today. And for few more information for the participants, do visit to the NIDM portal and give your valuable feedback and register yourself for the next webinar also. And do kindly download your certificate from Monday onwards and be with us for the upcoming sessions also, that will be live on every Friday of the week, and it will be from 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. So be with us, and you will definitely learn a lot from this type of interesting and innovative topics, and that will be quite helpful in making the communities resilient and cities resilient nearby. So thank you all, and thank you Prithviraj sir and Ghosh sir for making this event a great success.
And in fact, we are going to have one seminar on the event that happened in Sikkim on the aspects of law, very soon.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you.